Man, today is great weather. It is so nice out right now. Guys, we are at a friend's house just on the outskirts of Boise in Idaho, and we are Moochdocking. Have you heard of Moochdocking? Well, if you haven't, I'm gonna share a little bit of information about it for you. If you guys are new here, we are a full-time RV travel nurse family. It is my wife, myself, and we have triplets that are 13, plus 2 big dogs. And we just wrapped up our current contract and we are hitting the road to go to our next. But before our next contract starts, we have a couple weeks, so we're gonna see some friends along the way. And we're gonna stay at their place for a couple days and do some Moochdocking. Moochdocking, you heard of it? I'm sure some of you have, and I'm sure some of you haven't. But Moochdocking is when you are staying at a friend or a family's house and you are mooching off them. You are maybe getting some free electricity, free water, things of that nature. So I'm gonna share with you some tips and tricks on that. Right now we are currently staying at one of my wife's friends, old-time friends from way back when. She was actually in our wedding over 25 years ago, and we were here visiting in Idaho, and we were Moochdocking. Now, besides just having a free spot to stay on their property, we are also hooked up to electricity. Now, they don't have a 50 amp service for us like our trailer or a 30 amp, but they do have a 20 amp standard household outlet that we are currently plugged into. Now, some of you may even get lucky and find a spot to Moochdock where you have full hookups. I've seen that before where other people, because they have RVs or something, so they have it already set up. You might be able to get 30 or 50 amp electricity, water hookups, or even sewer. But regardless, anything is better than nothing. We could stay here just fine, no problem, and just use our generator and be fine with that. But luckily for us, they do have an outlet that's close by, so I'm able to run my cord, my adapter cord. It goes from a 110 outlet, like your standard household outlet, and on the end I have a 30 amp plug on it, and then I have an adapter going from my truck, because it's one of those 50 amp twist lock ones, to a 30 amp, and I'm able to make it work that way. And one thing I definitely recommend for anyone who's traveling, whether you're Moochdocking or not, is definitely carry a heavy duty standard cord, just like your regular 110 cord like you got in your garage, because there's so many places where you can get some electricity. It's just not a 30 or 50 amp, it's a 15 or a 20 amp. But carrying a cord like that, there's just so many other options that you're available to tap into for electricity. So definitely carry a heavy duty, like a 10 gauge type cord that can handle the kind of power, because typically you might not be right next to a power outlet. You might be 20, 30, 40, 50, 100 feet away from where you need to plug into power. So having a cord that can handle that kind of distance and that kind of power, even though it's only 110, definitely need to have one of those with you, whether you're Moochdocking or whatever, because you never know what you're gonna come across. And another thing that you should have, not only for Moochdocking, but as adapters, because you never know when you might get somewhere and they only have 30 amp, or maybe they only have 110, like a regular house outlet. So you need to have the correct adapter so you can plug in to use what you need to use. That's why I carry many different adapters with me, from 30 to 50, 50 to 30, from 110 to 50, to 110 to 30, all those different ones, because you never know what you're gonna need. But it's always good to have that with you so you're prepared. So that way, if you do get in a spot where you're Moochdocking like we are now, or if you're somewhere, because there are great spots all across the US, local parks, things like that, where they have free electric hookups or free water, and a lot of them may not always be a 50 or 30 amp. Sometimes they're just a regular kind of household 15 amp or 20 amp outlet. And while you can't use all your stuff with that, you can still use a lot of your stuff. But having the correct adapter with you is key to having a good Moochdocking and sometimes just lot docking experiences. Having multiple adapters makes your variety of options open up a whole lot more than if you just have your standard 50 amp or 30 amp cord that came with your rig. You're gonna need more than that if you like to explore, travel, and Moochdock at friends and family's house. So wood blocks, just basic wood blocks, are one of the best things you can also keep with you in the back of your truck or however. Then you can use them to level your trailer, to block your tires, all that kind of stuff. So I definitely recommend keeping numerous different sizes with you in the bed of your truck, wherever you can, because you never know when you get somewhere if you're gonna have to level up. And besides just having the wood blocks, those little chocks right there in the middle of the tires, those things right there, those actually work really good too, especially when you're kind of getting up in the air like this, where you're off a little bit. It makes it so the tires don't roll. And it also helps with a little bit of sway inside the trailer. Now you can get the other kind of blocks, the plastic blocks, the Anderson roll-on blocks, which I happen to have that stuff, but honestly, the wood blocks, the 2x6s, 4x4s, 4x8s, those are what I use the most, more than anything else, to level out the trailer. So besides having multiple electrical options with all your adapters and things like that, Keep a stack of wood with you as well for leveling up. And those are some of the two most basic things that you can keep with you to make sure your mooch-docking and other experiences go well. And to repay the favor, maybe there's something you can help her with around their house. For me, I was able to help her with her travel trailer. Unfortunately, her husband passed away about 2 years ago. They have a trailer and she knows nothing about it. She doesn't know how to operate or anything or do any of that stuff. So I went over the propane with her. We went over the refrigerator, the stove. I checked the outlets for her, the electrical box. Just kind of went through and ran through the stuff so she has an idea of what to do and things that she needs to do if she's gonna travel with this. So I wanted to do what I could in the short amount of time that I was there to help her out. So maybe you can also help someone in return for staying at their place. Okay. Bye, thank you.
Thank you, take care.
See you later. That is just a little bit of info on Moochdocking. Now, if there are many things out there, if you want to take your Moochdocking to the next level, they have adapters you can get to plug into multiple outlets to give you more power in your RV. They have macerators you can put on your septic system if you want to blend your poo and send it somewhere. So many things that you can do to elevate your game in the Moochdocking world. Some of the stuff I just gave you is just some of the basics to get you by and have a good time visiting family, friends, or whoever it may be. But Moochdocking is great and I recommend it to everyone. And whether you're someone who just camps occasionally or you're a full-time RVer like us, Moochdocking can help you reconnect with family and friends that maybe you haven't seen for a while. That was our case with this trip. We saw a friend that we haven't seen since we got married over 25 years ago. She was at our wedding, lives in a different state. You know, things get busy, we have families, all that stuff. And we just haven't been able to get together. My wife and her chat back and forth and talk and do all that stuff, but we actually haven't seen her in person for 25 years. And RV life and Moochdocking brought us all back together again. Our kids made new friends with their kids. They all went to family fun center. They did some go-karting, they did some rock climbing, all kinds of fun stuff. And it all got made possible by the RV life in Moochdocking. I recommend to everyone, go get an RV, go do some traveling, and go do some Moochdocking. Well, we're heading southwest today and we are gonna end up in Reno, Nevada, and we're gonna do some lot docking at the Nugget Casino. Fantastic. We're just out here living the dream. Well, thanks for watching, everyone. I really appreciate it. I appreciate all the old subscribers and all the new subscribers as well. Thank you very much. So we will see you on the next video. Have a good one.
Well, every time I see the sun, a rooster crows for days. And every time I see that gal, she always looks away. Hell, she always looks away. Hold on, baby, just hold on. I'll be coming home, back where I belong. Hold on, baby, baby, just hold on.